You know, Steve, I like to think that here on this podcast, I think that we've been pretty responsible trying to, just preach a message of responsibility and caution when it comes to this whole pandemic thing. We've been doing the show socially distant, doing this over a phone call for almost a year now, which is absolutely insane. And you and I both have kind of, cut ties with our normal life and tried to be responsible and everything.
Right.
And I was thinking the other day, there's got to be a way that we can continue to inspire people, because I know a lot of people are starting to get pretty ground down with this now. It's hard to keep it up. It's hard to, maintain that responsible lifestyle, especially while we got this vaccine rolling out and stuff like that. I know people are, kind of losing their steam. So I feel like this is the right time that we unveil the new public awareness slogan that we can use here to keep people remembering, hey, there's a vaccine out there. You can go and get it. You'll be able to get it soon. But you also still got to maintain that social distance and stuff like that in the meantime until everybody's all vaccinated up. I got a new slogan that I think is going to spread like wildfire, and you heard it here first on Dead and Lovely. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
It's called Drugs, Not Hugs.
Okay. Gotcha. I see where we're going here.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I think that's really going to catch on with the people. Keep everybody responsible. Keep your eyes on the drugs. Stay away from the hugs.
Discourage people from hugging by encouraging them to do drugs. But you're going to have to encourage them to not do Molly. Because that's going to lead to hugs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So they get really touchy and stuff then, huh?
Yeah. So drugs, not hugs, asterisk, except Molly.
Welcome, Dead and Lovely listeners, to the brand newest installment of the podcast. I say that because it is the singular podcast, the only podcast.
Why did we even give it a title?
That's a good question,
we should
really.
Just be the podcast. Welcome to
we need to differentiate
podcast.
Ourselves from the other podcasts, as if there are other podcasts. I mean, come on. Yeah, it's the podcast. Duh.
I guess we do have a title to the podcast, right?
That's right. It's Dead and Lovely, here with the host with the most. It's me, your good buddy, Uncle Ben.
Me, Hollywood Steve.
And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about Tales from the Hood Part 2, which is streaming on the Netflix right now. If you want to get straight to the movie review portion, there's a timestamp that's for you there in the podcast description. Just go to that if you want to miss the good stuff, I guess,
See you later.
That's right. Yeah, see you when we get there, I guess, huh? Because in the meantime, before we get to the movie review, we're going to be catching up, talking about what we've been watching, slamming a co-beer, and just having ourselves a good time. Because let's be honest, this podcast is just a thinly veiled disguise for me and Steve just to hang out every week.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's all it's for. Hello.
Yeah, pretty much. How you doing this week, Steve?
I've been having a pretty good week. I've been playing video games.
Ooh.
Full stop.
Video gaming, huh? Using that fancy new sex box that you got?
Yeah, that fancy new used sex box.
Might we call it a triple X box?
Ooh, damn. Yeah, no, we could call it that.
Put your disc in me, Daddy.
It does say that. I did change my name to Daddy, so it would say that, but it does say that.
Oh, my. Lord have mercy. What you been playing on that thing?
I've been playing several games, including a little Madden football. That's been fun. Yeah.
Football. Or are you doing that instead of watching the Superb Owl the other day?
I did not really pay attention to the Super Bowl past this first half because it was pretty clear that Tampa Bay was going to win. And I did see a penalty that I was pretty sure they called the penalty on the guy for intercepting Tom Brady's pass. I think that's a penalty now.
Okay. Well, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
can't do that.
Upset the great one, penalty. Yeah. So I played a little bit of Madden, but I've also been playing several other things. I started The Witcher 3 the other day.
Ooh. Yeah?
Fun times. And I also started the Batman Arkham Knight game, which is the third in the Arkham series, and I have yet to play it. And I started playing it, and you get to drive the Batmobile, and it's awesome.
Now, when you say Batman, you mean that guy from the Ben Affleck movie, right?
Yeah, the guy from the Ben Affleck movie. Yeah.
Nice. He's cool. I like that guy. I like the cut of his jib. Nice outfit. He's got a cool little outfit.
Yeah. It's weird that his wife tried to, frame him for murder, though, right?
Yeah. That was a little odd.
That was strange. But, I mean, it all turned out good in the end when he and his daughter put on that play with George Carlin.
Mm-hmm. That's the one, man.
Yep.
That is
That's the
Jersey
Batman.
Girl.
I mean, sorry.
The Batman. Awesome, man. So you've been doing some gaming. That's pretty good. You watched any flicks or anything this week?
Not really, except for I did finally get to one last night. I made myself a deal. I was like, look, you can play all the video games you want on the weekend.
Okay.
But during the week, you need to get to fucking work. So yesterday, Monday, I watched Gothica with the Halle Berry.
Oh, man.
And Robert Downey Jr. And boy, Hollywood was really riding on M. Night Shyamalan's twist at the end of The Sixth Sense for years, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, they milked that one dry.
Yeah, they were like, oh, twists. We're going to twist all over the place. It's going to be so fucking twisty, it's going to be not even twisted. It's going to be the craziest shit. You won't even be able to guess what's happening.
Yeah, that movie is all about that shit. I remember seeing it actually in theaters whenever that came out. Saw it in theater. Yeah, paid for a seat in a big room to watch it on a very large screen.
I'm sure you were just happy you had done that.
You know what? And I definitely remember everything about that movie because it was so good. No, I don't remember jack shit about that movie. I remember that it was a twist and there was Halle Berry in it. I don't remember really anything else about it.
There's good acting in it, but the writing is terrible. It just reminded me so much of What Lies Beneath, where it's like, oh, this is dumb. Why is this happening? This is the stupidest shit. But yeah, still, Halle Berry, awesome. Robert Downey Jr., great on it. His character just kind of disappears.
Love it. Huge fan of that.
They're just like, we're done with him, I guess. The end. Rap on RDJ.
Yeah, we had him for a few days, and his shooting is done now, so I guess we're over.
I guess that's it.
Moving on.
Yeah, I hated it. They took me almost 4 hours to watch it because I had to keep pausing and doing other things to psych myself up to go back to it. But it also
that's awful.
Also shot well and a lot of good imagery in there, but also some shit CGI because it was 2003.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I mean there were good elements, but the thing is Netflix had recommended it to me, and it was also in Netflix trending, and I had seen several people talking about it kind of recently, and I was like, there must be something to this. Maybe this is a hidden gem that I'm missing. I do not think that is the case.
Well, you know what it was? A bunch of Redditors, they invested in Gothica stock to artificially inflate the value of the movie, so it's popping up
Gothica
everywhere.
To the moon. I get it. Yep. Diamond hands on Gothica. Yeah, so watch Gothica. I've also been watching Raising Hope like mad. So really, I haven't only been gaming. I've been doing other stuff, but watching Raising Hope. I'm into season 3. It is just hilarious. Love it. The only complaint I had is how nicely they treated Nancy Grace, and that they had Nancy Grace on the show. Fuck Nancy Grace.
Dude, we just started into season 2, so we're not too far into it, but man, it's still just a joy.
Awesome.
I was really kind of worried that because it had been several years since we watched through it, that it wouldn't hold up, or it'd be like, oh, this is not as good as I remembered. But yeah,
no,
it's still just
great.
been kind of our go-to of just let's just go ahead and watch an episode of this before bed.
Season 2, I think episode 14 maybe, where it was it's Jimmy starts becoming friends with what's the weird guy, Frank from work.
Frank, yeah.
And Frank has a model of the town in his house.
So good.
And they both go to confront their bully, who is trans, and then beats the shit out of them. That was seriously, that whole episode was amazing. Loved it.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one. We've not gotten there yet. Okay, something to look forward to.
Yeah, just great. So yeah, that's all I've been watching. What you been watching, Ben?
Nice, man. Dude, I'll tell you what. I've had myself a pretty good week, and I'll tell you 2 different reasons right off the top of my head for why it's been a pretty good week. For one, yesterday we got some positive news about our good buddy Brandon Suttle's battle with cancer. Mm-hmm. Man, he it's not even my story to tell, but I'm just so excited about it. If you want to get all the details, you can go to his YouTube channel or GoFundMe page. But finally, in this second treatment of chemotherapy that he had, they finally saw some results. There was actually a very slim chance that it would even be effective, and it fucking worked.
Yep.
So basically, finally some good news of Brandon's situation, which is really, really, really just fantastic.
It is. We'll have to have him on here to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely so. He's not out of the woods yet. It just means that, he is going to be well enough to, start heading towards that bone marrow transplant and stuff that he needs.
Yeah.
So any bit of good news we can get is good news. And I suggest that you guys celebrate with us and head on over to the Facebook page where you can buy some merchandise, some t-shirts and stuff like that Brandon and his wife and a team of amazing people have put together. Just head over to facebook.com/fightwithb, as in boy, as in Brandon boy. Isn't that boy Brandon?
That's
Fight
right.
B. Buy a t-shirt, support him and his family in his fight against this horrible illness. So that was some great news for me. But then something really cool happened, Steve. And this is something that doesn't happen very often.
Let's hear it.
Somebody made a movie just for me.
Yeah?
And it's called Psycho Goreman.
Oh, yes.
Dude, I'm telling you what. As soon as it started, I was like, I am in love with this fucking movie.
I knew you would be, man. I knew it would hit
Yes.
you immediately. It did the same to me. It's just like, this is perfect. What?
Oh my God. I'll tell you, man, like what I've been telling everybody is don't go on Amazon and rent it. Go on Amazon and buy it.
Yeah.
Because you will want to watch it multiple times. This is one of those ones that's, as soon as we finished it, I was like, this is going to become one of those movies that I just always have on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I love the main protagonist girl. I can't remember her name. She's awesome.
Mimi.
That actress is going for it, man. When she breaks that cross on her knee,
her knee.
when she starts like, it sounds like she's praying, and Emily was like, "What the fuck?" Because it's like, "Where's
That's
this?"
what I thought too.
Yeah,
like,
where's this
we
from?
need to take this here?
Yeah, and it's just like, wait, nope, that's not what she's doing.
Dude,
she's a badass.
There's so many parts in that movie where I was just like, I got to rewind that just so I can watch that again. All the fucking hunky boys stuff, dude.
I don't care about hunky boys. Or do I?
Or do I? Dude, the way that the camera like slowly zooms in on his face and you can tell he's having this like miniature crisis for just a second.
Yeah, just like, wait
or
a second.
Do I?
And then later,
oh my God.
my hunky boys.
Not my hunky boys. Dude, and I could go on and on and on. Like, I know that we're going to do like an episode on this eventually.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, study up. If you're listening to this, study up, watch the movie a couple of times. Because, like, if you love 80s stuff, if you love 90s stuff, if you love horror, if you love
Power Rangers
and Gwar.
Yeah. I think Venture
if you like
Brothers,
things that are nice.
anything where, like, they build a world but don't, like, guide you by the hand the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just so much is going on in the background, but they focus on this little family and their cutesy experiences with this being that wants to destroy the universe. It's fucking awesome.
Amazing. It's hilarious. It's gory. The soundtrack is fucking awesome. Like,
yeah, it's just rad,
I can't say enough about it. Like, I'm in love. I started watching it again last night. Like,
yeah, I get it.
I can't get enough.
Yeah, I'm the same. I could watch it over and over, and I really, like I was saying, I think it's one you could probably watch with your kids. Like, when you watch it, yeah, it's gory, but the gore is silly. Like, none of it's over serious, and there's no cussing in it.
That's true, yeah.
Like, it's amazing. I wonder if the PG Psycho Goreman, if that was kind of the initiation of the movie. Like, could we make a PG movie that is nuts and for kids, kind of like Monster Squad back in the day?
Yeah, it totally does have like a Monster Squad vibe about it. I thought the exact same thing, man.
But it, just imagine if the cute girl was an insane person.
yeah, basically. Oh my God, man, I loved it so much, and I hope that you guys do too. So go on Amazon and get that thing, and we'll talk more about it in the future, I'm sure. There's no way we can't do an episode on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to cover that soon enough. So, I'm glad you finally saw it. What else you been watching?
Man, we've been continuing our like Sunday afternoon just watch some like piece of shit giant action movie from the 90s spree that we've been on lately.
Yeah.
We watched a little flick called Bad Boys.
Oh, yeah? With a Martin Lawrence and a William Smith.
Mm-hmm. Bad Boys.
Uh-huh.
Bad Boys. What
you
are they
gonna
going to do?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give you a pretty fun Sunday afternoon, I'll tell you that.
That's true.
It's all right.
It is all right. It is all right. I think the sequel's better as far as action movies
If I recall, Bad Boys 2 is better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've watched it, but I remember thinking it was just like
yeah,
way more over the top and
it is.
bombastic.
Yeah,
and fun
it's just
to watch,
insane.
So.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I think you just watch Bad Boys so you can watch Bad Boys 2, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you got to watch Friday the 13th Part 5 to get to Part 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to get through it. It's not like you're struggling through it, but it's also like you know what you want and it's not it yet. Like you're getting there, but you're not getting what you want yet.
Mm-hmm. That's right, man. So I guess what I'm saying is I've got plans for this Sunday already.
I haven't seen Bad Boys 3.
No, I haven't either.
I wonder what that's all about.
Maybe I find out.
Maybe you do.
Maybe I do. We've also watched ourselves a couple of more serious pictures.
Okay.
We're not all just fun and games. We're not all just playing grab ass out here. We watch serious movies that are serious.
Yeah.
Okay? All right?
Let's hear about them.
We watch Sound of Metal.
Okay. What is this about?
So it's one of the ones that I've been hearing a bunch of buzz about, like a lot of hype about this movie.
Uh-huh.
Watched the trailer, and it was just like, okay, this looks right up my alley. It's about a guy who's like a heavy metal drummer that just like suddenly loses his hearing, like in the middle of a gig, basically, and is like playing just totally by sight. And they're in the middle of a tour, and it's just like, what the fuck do we do? You're going deaf suddenly, you know? And it's just like very... I'm going to say like slow burn, introspective, like character study kind of thing of him learning how to cope with that. And it's interesting, man. It's one of those that is like, it is definitely slow. And like after it was over, I was kind of like, I don't know when I'll watch this again because it is a very slow moving kind of movie. But that's also kind of the point to, show this guy who is a part of like the most frantic thing you can probably be, which is a heavy metal drummer. Uh-huh. And then learning how to live a life in silence and learning how to use sign language and live in a community of people without hearing and stuff. It was interesting. Really cool movie. I think that you'd like it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Sound of Metal. I got it written down right here.
Sound of Metal, man. So we watched that. We also watched a movie that I had not seen until I think right after it came out on DVD way back in the day.
Okay.
And I remembered fucking hating it. Even though it has a William Murray as the main character. I'm talking about Lost in Translation.
Yeah, this seems like a movie I would have seen, but I have not seen this movie.
That is shocking to me, dude.
I don't know why I haven't. It's probably just every time I see it streaming, I'm like not in the mood for that, I assume. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what it is. But I know it can't possibly... I can't, like, imagine what it is, basically, and I need to just watch it.
I think that you'd really like it, honestly.
From the stills I've seen and stuff, I'm like, I don't know what this is about. No idea.
It's a gorgeous movie, and it's really just kind of, it's about two people that find themselves... out of place and alone in a crowd and find each other and yada yada.
Okay.
And I think the first time that I watched it, I was thinking like, it's Bill Murray in Japan. It's going to be super silly. And I watched it and I was like, not that kind of movie.
Yeah.
And so the first time I saw it, I was kind of like pissed off a little bit. I was like, I didn't pee my pants once. If I pay good money for a comedy film, I want to pee in my pants. And this didn't happen even once.
Yeah.
But this time, I outsmarted it. I had already peed my pants before the movie started.
There you go. You
Problem
got it.
solved. Yeah, so I had that expectation already taken care of. So I was able just to enjoy the movie in my soggy britches. And I got to say, it was actually really, really good. I like the movie
awesome.
A whole hell of a bunch. And I think that you really, really would too,
I need to watch it, for sure. I need to check.
I think you ought to get around to it,
man.
I
ought to get around to it. You were talking last week about how you'll get an idea of what a movie needs to be before you watch it, and then you'll be disappointed that it's not that movie.
Yeah, I'm bad about that.
I had a roommate back in the day who hated plantains because he got a plantain, peeled it, and bit into it like a banana, and it didn't taste like a banana. and I pointed out, well, it's not a banana. It's a different thing. And he was like, yeah, I just don't like them. It's just like,
well, if you're eating them that way,
yeah. If you do it like that, of course you don't like them.
That's amazing. That is totally like a move that I would do for sure. That's funny, man. Did you guys get up to anything good on the old Screamin' Chat hang on Discord this Friday?
Oh my goodness, man. We watched Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town, and it's a trauma movie, and like most trauma movies, doesn't live up to what you would think it's gonna be. Because with that title,
sure.
You're like, oh man, this is gonna be rad. And it does have some good, like, you know, it's a gang of women as a motorcycle gang, and they call themselves the cycle sluts, and like they talk about, you know, taking the word slut back and stuff, and there's some cool sort of female empowerment in the mid 80s type of thing going on, which is interesting, but it's also just the movie drags. You expect a movie called Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town to get to the gore, right?
Sure, yeah, I would expect.
But it takes forever to... The zombies are so slow, and it's like, I think it was like 13 minutes into the movie, you see the zombies finally like together as a horde, and then they're walking toward the town, and it shows a sign that says 5 miles. And it's like, at this rate, they're going to get there like never. And then the movie kind of does that, where it takes forever for them to get there. But there is a baby tossing scene, like a baby hot potato, which is...
I mean, that just sounds like fun.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town doesn't live up to the title, but we had a fun time anyway.
It's always about the company you keep and just making memories on the old Screamin' Chat every Friday night.
That's right. So show
up.
On
the Dead and Lovely Discord.
We're always there.
Right on, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. I think that the fact that the Screamin' Chat has gotten to grow and these people in the Discord have gotten to know each other is one of the better things about this entire, year of being shut in and stuff. So
sure.
I'd like to raise a toast to all the cool kids and crack me a gigantic co-beer, because I've got 32 ounces of liquid beer sitting right next to me here,
you got
Steve.
a King Cobra?
I got a big old King Cobra. No, what I've got right here is a big old 32-ounce to-go can of D-White IPA from Orange Hat Brewing Company in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is a brewery that I hadn't had anything from until I got these to-go co-beers. I'm here to tell you, Steve, they're good at making co-beer over there. For real. But everything that I've had from there has been a delight, from the IPAs to the stouts and everything like that. So next time you're in Knoxville, stop by Orange Hat Brewing Company. Mm-hmm. Let's get a sip of this thing and see what it do. What are you sipping on today, Steve?
Sipping on a protein shake made with 16 ounces of coffee, 8 ounces of Fairlife milk, and a scoop of protein powder.
Oh, shit. That's going to get you fucked up.
Yeah, I'm going to be wrecked by the end of this.
Dude.
Or yoked. Am I right, bro?
Are you going to do like a power workout after this, man? You going to do some lifting, bro?
Well, I don't have any weights, but yeah, I'm gonna be pushing my body around, doing some of them body weight workouts.
Very nice, man. Very nice. Well, I hope that you have a good time with that and that your energy shake powers you through it like a man.
Do you ever think, like, because when I'm doing push-ups or something, you ever think about like how basic the move you're doing is? Like,
right,
you're like, I need to get up off the ground. This is an exercise.
Yeah, essentially that's kind of it. Yeah. Yeah. Squats are like, I was kneeling, then I stood up.
Yep. And then I kneeled again. Then, well, you know what I did? Well, not kneeling. What are you doing? Squatting. Do not kneel in your squats. That's a bad call.
That's a bad move.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. Yeah, it's all pretty basic stuff when you get down to it, isn't it?
It is. It's really basic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Steve, I'll tell you what. The subject of our show today is Tales from the Hood Part 2. We did Tales from the Hood Part 1, I believe,
a couple years ago.
1 year ago.
Oh, was it
right?
a year ago? Okay.
I think it might have been. Maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. But we've done it.
We done did it.
Don't you tell us we haven't done it. We have done it. Go back and listen to that one if you need proof. So there. And its sequel, which is the subject of today's show, came out a real long time after. That is a
That
lot
is
of
true.
time in between those sequels.
Yeah,
and,
95 to 2018, so 23 years.
Dang, that right there is a long time. That's about as much time as Tool takes in between albums. Am I right?
Am I right?
They take their sweet time with it. And sometimes whenever things take a lot of time in between the initial installment and the sequel, man, sometimes it works out great. Sometimes it doesn't work out great. You remember that whole new Coke fiasco?
I do remember the new Coke. I remember the Crystal Pepsi. I remember all them fiascos.
That's right. That's right. And don't even get me started on what's going to happen whenever old Jimmy James Cameron releases those next Avatar movies. Holy shit. Who cares?
We got like 20 coming, right?
Yeah. And it's already been like 15 years since the first fucking one came out. I don't even remember anybody's name from that damn thing.
You know what, though? People were so obsessed with that movie. Do you remember how obsessed people were with that movie? And I saw parts of that movie and I was like, this is trash. What is this movie that people are liking? It looks like shit. It looks like a bad video game.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much. You know, I think that's going to be one of those cases where the sequel does not live up to the hype.
Probably.
But every now and then, you get a sequel that takes place, you know, that's made way after the original, and it just turns out great. And you know what, Steve? I say before we get to the movie review, let's recount some of those times and enter into the Preview Palace.
Welcome to the Preview Palace. Long-awaited sequel edition.
Ooh, long-awaited sequels. Very good. Very good,
right.
man. Now, you know, of course, we're a movie podcast. What comes to mind whenever you're thinking about, like, movies whose sequels were made way after the original? Let's give these Bustas a top 10 of these things.
Sure. I mean, the number one that springs to mind, and there have been a number in the past 5 years or so, but number one with a bullet is Mad Max Fury Road.
I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a fucking doubt. That is the number one. It has to be.
Yeah. I mean, a sequel that's coming almost 20 years later and just blowing the originals out of the water, I think. Now, and I am a huge fan of the original, but I think Mad Max Fury Road is everything that they always wanted the movies to be. And it's just perfect.
And it's crazy, too, to think that George Miller had to become, like, 150 years old to make that movie.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, man.
He had to make Babe and Babe Pig in the City to finally get to Mad Max Fury Road.
That's right, man. It took him a little while. He had to ponder on it some, but I'm going to say that was a worthwhile sequel, even though it was so far removed from the original.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But, I mean, you know, that's becoming kind of common now with some movies. I mean, we've had a few in the past few years. I'll just say Blade Runner 2049, a movie I haven't seen, but I know you love.
Yes, Blade Runner 2049 is fucking awesome, and that's one of those ones I was extremely skeptical about because, I mean, the original is just one of the most fucking incredible flicks ever. You know, a science fiction masterpiece from the mind of Ridley Scott.
All the stuff.
And so,
you like.
Yeah, exactly. So going into this one, this far removed from the original, I was like, there's no way it's gonna be even halfway worth of shit. And man, it's fucking cool. I really think you would enjoy it. I hope you get to watch it sometime soon.
Yeah. I'm there's no reason why. You know, I don't know what it is. The more hype I build a movie up in my head, the longer it takes me to finally get to the movie because it becomes like a chore. It's like oh gosh, am I going to be able to enjoy this movie? I hope so.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, man. But yeah, do check it out. I think that you will enjoy it very, very much. Steve, I got to tell you what. There's a sequel that comes to mind for me that was created far after the original, which was, in its time, a masterpiece.
All right.
But the sequel, I think, way outstripped the original. Because I'm here to tell you what, Steve.
Can't wait to hear this.
Up until 1982.
Right.
I mean, you know, that's a little while back. That's a little older than me. But, you know, still pretty recent. Up until 1982, from the dawn of time, if you wanted to eat ice cream, you had two options. If you were on the go and wanting to eat ice cream, you could either walk around with a handful of ice cream, okay, just in your hand, or you could stick it in a plain-ass cone. What do
Okay.
they call that? A cake cone? Who gives a shit?
Okay.
It's like eating styrofoam.
Get it out of here, you say.
Get out of here. Until in 1982, we get the sequel to the cone. The waffle cone, Steve, which debuted at the World's Fair.
This is the sequel
Right here
to
in
the
Knoxville,
cone.
Tennessee. It's the sequel to the cone, and it absolutely lived up to the hype. How long had we had the cone, Steve, before we got the waffle cone?
It looks like
an axe age, a sword age,
the Sword Age, you say.
I say.
All the way back to the Sword Age we invented
that's
from
right.
cake cones. And yeah,
To the sequel.
wow.
Talk about a sequel that lives up to the hype.
Kept the creator so long. Like why was the creator of the cake cup not like I want to see what else is in this world. Maybe a pancake.
I'll tell you why, Steve, because he was a cocky son of a bitch. He looked at his invention, and that motherfucker said, can't get better. Nailed it. First time, I got it. Yeah, there's no use for innovation in the world of cone. This is it. We've hit the pinnacle.
Okay.
Until Mr. Waffle Cone
a
came along,
long-awaited
showed him
sequel.
up.
Fans of the original cone were just like, man, when is new cone coming out?
Yeah, exactly right. They got it. They were blown away.
Right. Well, what about in the same vein as that? Of course, we have the Halloween from 2018, which is
totally the same.
Technically a sequel to the first movie, not a sequel to the other movie. So we're talking about a 40-year span between the sequel.
I'm gonna say that is finally a sequel that made up for all the garbage that happened in between Halloween 1. Let's not count Halloween 3 because it's awesome and has nothing to do with it.
But all
and
that
then all
other
the
nonsense.
horseshit movies.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
Dude.
but there are people who love those movies, so definitely see why they don't like this sequel. But I loved it. I loved the way that they just gave us a sequel to Carpenter's movie, and some nods to the other things without bringing in the Cult of Thorn and all that.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they're going to. What if they did?
Man.
What if the next movie Paul Rudd shows up?
Oh my god! Please no.
And resurrects him.
Please no, dude. I really hope that the sequels to this follow up, man. Like people are just talking about that on the Facebook group and stuff today about the planned sequels and everything. And God, I hope they go well because, dude, like we talked about on our Halloween 2 episode, like it is just such a letdown after you watch the glory of the original. Halloween 2 is not really that good, y'all. So to finally get a good follow up,
but that's
it does. But to finally get that good follow-up was just so satisfying, where it's like, oh my god, finally they continued the story that they started in the first one without adding a bunch of fucking nonsense to it,
Yeah, and they even dismissed that concept that they were related, just outright. Yeah, I liked that. That was good.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. And I'm gonna tell you what, the next sequel that I'm coming up with off the top of my head right now. It's going to be a hot take because I know there's a lot of people that aren't a fan of this, but
let's hear it.
I'm here to tell you about a sequel to the Bible. It's called the Book of Mormon. Now, Steve, I myself am not a Mormon, as you know.
Right. Yeah.
But when I met you, you were. And I'm just saying, without the sequel to the Bible, which that's a long time span in between those two books.
It's been a while.
Without that sequel, man, who knows? We might not be doing this here podcast. We might not be friends.
That's absolutely true. I don't even know. I don't know where I would be without that sequel. So, thanks, Book of Mormon.
There's some stuff in there that's not aging very well.
I mean, honestly. The Book of Mormon has basically all the same shit as the Bible. It's the stuff Joseph Smith himself said, and the stuff in Doctrine and Covenants that is way more easy to pick apart because it's not just reiterations of shit that's already in the Bible. It's stuff like, Emma Smith, if you don't let Joseph Smith marry that 14-year-old girl, you're going to hell.
Ooh.
God told me that. And that is canonized in Mormon scripture. So
yeah, it could use some revision. Okay, so it's a good sequel, but it could use revision.
Well, again, that's not the Book of Mormon. That's the Doctrine and Covenants. listen, I don't need to defend Mormonism. But the people who think the Book of Mormon is full of wild shit, it's not. It's really just as boring as the fucking Bible. It's just like, oh, also, by the way, Jesus came to the Americas and said the same Bible shit that he said over in Jerusalem. And it's like, yeah, I mean, that makes more sense to me than Jesus only talked to a few people in the Middle East and then was like, I'm outie, y'all tell everybody else.
Peace out. Like he wouldn't do a world tour, a big old press tour at the end of that run? Come on.
But it's all bullshit. So the Book of Mormon doesn't need to be defended any more than any other bullshit.
All right. Yeah. Steve, what do you think about a sequel that some people might even see as a remake that has nothing to do with the original?
Okay. Let's hear it.
What you know about The Evil Dead that came out a couple 2-3 years ago? What do you know about that?
I know that it is a solid sequel and that it came well after Army of Darkness. It seems almost like maybe it's I mean, we're it's in the same universe because we see Ash at the end, but
and the classic.
It's also way like different tonally, and I wonder if it's like I don't know where they're going with it. I know that they have talked about, furthering it, but I wonder if it is meant to be a sequel to the original 3 or if it's more of a sequel to the original. Because the original, right, while it does get really like kind of silly near the end, is mostly going for serious.
Yeah, serious affair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's supposed to be a sequel to the original, which would mean it's even a further distance from its last installment. Or still, I mean, Army of Darkness was 88, and that was 2013, so that's 25 years.
Yeah, long time.
That's
been a long time.
Yeah. And and that's a very solid movie.
I think so too. And it seems like a lot of the fans enjoy that one as well. Of course, like you said, it's very different tonally, but if you want to hear all our thoughts about it, you can check out our episode that we did.
And you can hear Zach Householder talk about Evil Dead as well.
That's right. Old Zach from Whitechapel. Good old friend of mine. He's on that episode, and it is what we call a good time. We in the business, we call it a good time.
That's right. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, Steve. I always have a good time every time I take my big old rock guitar and I plug it into the sequel to Eddie Van Halen's original PV5150 amp that came out in the early 90s. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the EVH 5150
right.
3. Now, here's the deal, Steve.
Okay.
The 5150 was made by PV, designed by amp maker James Brown. Not that James Brown, a different James Brown. And it's one of the most legendary amps ever, built like a tank, super cheap. You can find them everywhere, and they sound fucking great. They made the 5152, big old disappointment. You don't want that one. And then it would be years and years, decades, one might even say, which are a lump of years.
Yeah.
Until they designed the 5153 under Eddie's own EVH brand. And I'm here to tell you, Steve,
how is
that is a sequel that more than lives up to the hype. It has everything the original did, all the gain on tap, the flexible EQ, the bulletproof durability, and it adds on a pristine, clean channel, 3 channels with independent EQ,
oh, is that
and
right?
more gain than you can shake a stick at. I mean, come on. Talk about a sequel.
So it's got all the notes in it, or...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's got all of them in there. Mm-hmm. That's right. A through G sharp.
All right. We've exhausted my music knowledge.
Country
notes
and Western. Does both styles. Equally well. I can't wait for the 5150 prequel, though.
Oh, yeah?
Now, that's going to be something. Yeah.
Where we find out that Eddie Van Halen's dad was Darth Vader, or... I don't know.
That's the one. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's actually a clarinet amp.
It's a clarinet amp. Yeah, and it's got Squidward on the side.
Sure, why not? Let's go with it. So, talk about a sequel that lives up, Steve.
Definitely. That is one. So, yeah, what are some other sequels we got, Ben, aside from amps? I think we got, there's been the Bill and Ted 3 that came out recently.
That's right.
I have
haven't
not seen it, but
I'll tell you which one we have
it.
seen, Steve, that's right here in our wheelhouse.
What's that?
How do you make a sequel to what many, including me sitting in this chair on my own man-ass, consider to be the greatest horror film of all time, The Shining by Stan Kubrick? How do you make a sequel to that?
Kubrick.
Are you going to do it? The original came out so long ago. Is it even worth making a sequel out of? I don't know. Maybe we do Dr. Sleep, and it's fucking great.
Oh, yeah, that one. That's for sure a solid sequel that came, what do we see, 78 to was that 2019 that Dr. Sleep came out? So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about 41 years there.
Damn.
Oh, wait, no, 80.
Time.
Sorry. Shining came out in 80. So right. 29 years. That's, why didn't they wait 1 year, you wonder?
Yeah, just go even
just
30.
Go for the even 30. I mean,
yeah.
It's a good thing they didn't. It wouldn't have worked out for them. Do you think
they
knew?
They
did Mike Flanagan make COVID?
He knew something. You can tell. He knew something the entire time.
Damn it, Mike Flanagan.
He knew.
He was like, I'll make COVID, and it'll be a brunette.
Yeah, because that's
and pretty.
That's kind of what he's into.
All right,
you know?
yeah.
You can't blame him. The heart wants what it wants. You can't blame him.
That's true. You cannot blame him.
I'm going to say that was a sequel that, obviously it's impossible to live up to the glory of The Shining, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you.
It's good.
It's good. It is good. I did like it, and we should cover it on the show. I'd like to talk about that Rose the Hat lady a good bit more. Oh, man.
Want to get to know you.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it lives up to The Shining, but it is a solid movie and still and good. And Ewan McGregor is really good in it for sure. And the lady who played Rose the Hat, can't remember her name, but she's awesome.
And some very just shocking, brutal parts in that flick
for
too.
There was
I feel
some
like
good
that's
stuff.
That's kind of an impossible sequel to make, but I feel like it was different enough that it sort of set itself apart and didn't just try to be The Shining Part 2. It was its own movie.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that about it, Steve.
I'm going to drop 2 bombs on you that I didn't even think of, because really when I think about long-awaited sequels, it's really been the past few years that we've been seeing a lot of this.
Sure, we get the Dark Crystal series and stuff.
Just so much like nostalgia and repetition of stuff from 30 years ago that is common. We run in 30-year cycles in entertainment. It's ridiculous. But the 80s had a couple of these. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which came 12 years after the original.
Oh, damn, yeah.
And
Holy
Psycho
moly.
2, which came 20-something years after the original.
I never did see Psycho 2.
You need to see Psycho 2.
When you watch TCM 2, that Tobe Hooper spent about 12 years just doing cocaine all the damn time.
Old Tobe Hooper.
Yeah, Tobe Hooper. Tobe Hooper. Yeah, that's a wild movie. We did a review on that one a little while back,
too.
too.
TCM 2 is insane. But Psycho 2, very solid, I think, and we'll have to cover it sometime, because after we did Psycho, when we did Psycho, I talked about it, but it is kind of stuck in my mind as just a really solid sequel to a movie that you wouldn't expect 20-something years later to get a solid sequel in the 80s.
That's right.
During just like sequel mania, where it was like, oh, just put anything out. People will watch it.
Yeah, that's right, man. Well, I need to check that one out sometime, because I've heard some good things about it. But you know what? Here's the thing about this list, and really honestly any of these sequels to much beloved properties. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to get up in arms for these hot takes that we've been having.
Yeah, probably especially about the waffle cone.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those cake cone people, they're going to be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, but you know those people, they're just on the payroll salary of Big Cake Cone, obviously. Which
is one of the most powerful lobbies in all of the world, I believe.
Oh, they're diabolical. They're awful people.
Look
those
up
are the
Costa
baby
Rica Cake Cone, and you get back to me.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder what if that is something.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. Who knows?
Who knows?
It's probably pornography, honestly.
Yeah.
That's probably a dirty sex move.
Definitely going to be something you either do want to see or don't want to see in front of people. So, like, watch it privately.
Let us know. That
though.
way we'll know, when and where and if we should watch it and find out. And then try it on each other next time we see each other, obviously.
Absolutely.
But, there's one sequel that I think we can all agree on that's just going to unite all of us, Steve. It's hard to find things that can bring us together, especially as a nation. But there's one sequel that came way after the original that I think we can all get down on, Steve.
Okay.
Now, there's a place out there. What's a fast food restaurant?
Oh, boy.
Where the burgers are square.
I've heard of
but
these.
Dave Thomas is not. He's a good man and an orphan. He was a good person. He did a lot of good in this world. He made his burger square. He made his fries. Anyway, but back in the day.
Okay. All right. I will debate you. The old Wendy's fries were great.
Really?
Yes. You don't like a thick fry? No. I know some people don't like thick fries.
I don't. No.
But that is not an objective. Because for sure, Wendy's had the most amazing, crisp, thick fries back in the day.
It's just starch. It's just like eating starch.
Yeah. I think you hate potatoes. I'm
You're
starting
wrong.
to gather.
Don't even tell me how I feel about potatoes.
I don't think you like potatoes.
You don't know me. You can't judge me.
I'm taking this as a direct attack on the Irish.
Come on, man. Come on. You can't be dragging me into that.
You did. You made the famine. That was you.
No. You can't prove a thing. Google it. No, but at this place, at Dave Thomas's Wendy's, up until the fairly recent past, you'd go there and you'd get a chicken sandwich, and you would get a fairly unseasoned, pretty dry piece of chicken on a bun with some fixings and stuff. And you know what you thought to yourself? You thought to yourself, is this all there is? Is this all there is for me in this world? This on a bun, you'd say?
You would say that.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That is until the long-awaited sequel, the Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich came along and
chicken
blew the original
Part 2,
out of the
spicy
water.
edition.
Dude, there's no contest. There is no contest.
You're correct. And Wendy's does hold the distinction of being the first major fast food chain with a spicy chicken sandwich.
Wow, really?
Yes, which is insane to me that other fast food restaurants didn't think like, you know what would make this chicken sandwich good?
Seasoning.
Spice. Yeah.
Interest. Even Chick-fil-A caught up and started doing it. I mean,
did they? Oh, did they?
It's a little spicy.
No, Chick-fil-A's not. Listen, Southerners, I have to say this. Chick-fil-A is not as good as y'all keep claiming. I mean, one, they were supporting anti-gay charities or whatever, but
not good.
Look up every fast food restaurant. They all suck. They all support charities that are terrible and lead to people's lives being ruined.
And the food kills you long term.
Well, yeah, but I mean, whatever. Who gives a shit? That's great. That's the good part.
Gotta die of something. Hell.
But Chick-fil-A, okay, look, it's pickle brined.
Sure.
That's not special, though. So many other places do the same thing.
That's technology, Steve. That's high tech.
And then, like, I get it that Chick-fil-A sauce is so amazing. It's just mustard and barbecue sauce put together. Okay? It's just honey mustard and barbecue sauce. You make it at home. You can do it yourself. You can make your own Chick-fil-A at home. It's easy.
You have the technology.
Cut up some chicken, pickle brine it. You don't have to go give Chick-fil-A any of your fucking money.
I like that.
But Chick-fil-A's spicy chicken is an insult to the word spicy.
Wow, holy shit, man. You heard it here first.
It's not spicy. It's so
I'm just going to say,
ass.
I just want to go ahead and clear my name here. The opinions of Hollywood Steve do not necessarily represent those of Uncle Ben. I'm just saying. I'm standing back. I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I am standing back. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man, y'all jump on me if you want, but Popeyes is better. Zaxby's is better. And by the Wendy's, by the way, the sequel to the chicken sandwich, the spicy chicken, the Wendy's spicy chicken is way better than Chick-fil-A. Just go
It's
to
definitely
Wendy's,
spicier.
and the
there's
money
no
will go
doubt.
to orphanages, and it'll be better.
And also, too, whenever you get it from the Wendy's, you get lettuce and tomato and stuff on there. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't
Get some
understand.
garden on that thing.
Like you need mayo and you need pickles. That's the thing that like you get
Okay, sure you do.
You get the pickles at Chick-fil-A. You hate pickles, I know. But you get the pickles at Chick-fil-A, you get the mayo at Wendy's. Why the fuck did they not like at Wendy's go also pickles?
They don't have the technology.
What? I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Just if you add a pickle if you're at Wendy's, see what that does to your sandwich. Because man, I'm telling you,
Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out.
But that right there is a sequel that is far removed from the original. That I think we can all agree. We can all agree,
forgot
right?
what we were even doing. We just went off on a rant on chicken sandwiches.
We're making a podcast, Steve. Are you pointing at the mic at least?
I am talking into the mic.
I feel like we need to have microphones that have remember on the old landmines and stuff, it would be point towards enemy or whatever.
Yes.
Mics should have point towards face on them.
Yeah.
Put towards podcaster face.
I do kind of Ray Charles the mic when I get super into stuff. I'll be kind of weaving in my seat. And then when I go back to listen to it, it's I can tell which side of the mic I'm on.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, I hope to hear about your all's long separated sequels that you hold to be up there with the originals over there on the Facebook group and stuff.
Absolutely.
I want to find out what you guys think about. There's a lot of these that were up for consideration, but it's Terminator 2, it's not that far away from Terminator 1, stuff like that.
6-7 years. Or,
something like that, yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty far distance, but still not as long as some of these others.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to think of some good video game franchises and stuff that have, long separated sequels, but I didn't have time for that. We came up with this shit really last minute.
Yeah,
y'all.
we did, but we
not that you can tell.
But we did forget to mention one other one that comes straight out of K-Town. Cherry Coke.
Cherry Coke, dude, are you kidding me? I used to have to go down to the malt shop in the 1950s
to get you a Cherry Coke.
Exactly, yeah. On the way to the sock hop in my 57 Chevrolet with my duck-ass haircut.
Uh-huh.
And I'd have to ask the soda jerk, hey, toss me a little bit of that maraschino juice in my Coca-Cola
and he'd be
so I could have myself a Cherry Coke.
I'm wearing
That's right.
a paper
You could only
hat.
get them fresh. I mean, you couldn't get one when you were on the go. You had to always find the local malt shop and track down a good soda jerk and get him to take care of it. Until they started canning that shit.
Yeah.
And it's great.
They introduced it in 1982 at the Knoxville World's Fair.
Boom. Knoxville fucking represent. I think that's also where they introduced the Petro.
Yeah, the Petro, the waffle cone, and the Cherry Coke all introduced. Knoxville World's Fair.
You're welcome.
Boom. We did it.
Yeah. Hey, rest of the world. You're fucking welcome. Knoxville. The Dirty 865 fucking represent.
That is us.
But yeah, let us know about your sequels of choice over on the Facebook group over at
Facebook.com/Dead and Lovely. Head on over there. We got a good group kicking. If you hate Facebook, we're also on the Instagram and the Twitter at Dead Lovely Pod. So you can find us anywhere.
That's right. Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. We'll see you guys next time. I've been
that
Uncle
was
Ben.
it. We just wanted to talk about Petro's chili and chips.
Kind of unfortunately, we're going to talk about Tales from the Hood Part 2 now, which, okay, preface. Tales from the Hood Part 1.
It's fucking great.
We really fucking loved. I had just watched that movie for the first time whenever we did the episode and liked it so much that if I recall, the entire preview palace for that episode is movies that far exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, because you did not expect it to be that good. And I did not remember if it would. I thought maybe I'd have some nostalgia for it, but it would look silly. But watching it, looking back on it, it's man, no, this is solid. This is a good anthology movie. Each one of these segments hits. Great. Love it.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that came out, when did that come out?
95,
man. And it's even watching it whenever we did just a year or two ago, it was man,
still relevant.
It really sucks that this shit is still relevant. And it was such a, I think, nuanced movie. I remember one of the topics that we talked about whenever we did that movie was that, you know, it's essentially two movies in one, where if you watch it as a white person that isn't scared of the police and shit like this, and, you know, doesn't live in the world that oppressed people of color live in.
Yeah.
You watch this movie and you're like, oh, zombies, that's scary, right? But if you watch it as a person of color, you're like, oh no, the cops are the scary part.
Yeah.
Like, you get two different experiences watching this movie depending on who you are.
Sure.
And again, like, I loved how subtle and nuanced that movie was in a lot of ways, and it had a lot of really fantastic performances in there. You had David Alan Grier in there and stuff. A lot of really great
was
shit.
really good in it. Yeah, it was solid.
Yeah, that's right. And so I kind of went into this with some expectations. I found out that it was by the same director and writers and stuff. Like, it was like, oh man, cool. It's the same people, and they're making a Tales from the Hood 2 during the Trump era.
Yeah, this
is gonna be fucking crazy.
Out of the park, right? Just fucking nail it.
It really should.
Mm-hmm.
It is not.
It is
very
not
good.
What it's got going on is it's got a few moments that are worth really lauding, and then a whole lot of the movie telling us exactly what to think and feel about what's happening.
Very low nuance, very low on subtlety, like just very... And, you know, again, it's like, not that you even need to make stuff about systematic racism and stuff coded in some way to make it appealing to the masses, or candy code it so people will enjoy it. Not that you need to do that, but this is just so, like, low-hanging fruit in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? It's just like really obvious stuff.
Yeah, and then also a segment that's, I guess, supposed to be funny and has, like, no real value to it. Like, as having some sort of, like, racial meaning or, like, really attacking some injustice. It's just about a medium. And,
it's like, hey, shitty psychics, huh? Am I right? Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, the first one,
so
man,
odd.
like, it dealt with issues that were affecting so many people, like domestic violence, like police abusing their authority.
Exactly. Yeah, all that sort of
politicians.
stuff. Yeah, and then gang violence was like the last one, which had that sort of Jacob's Ladder thing going on, which was dope.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That was really cool. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a very, very good anthology movie, the original. And this one is the wraparound story looks like it was shot on an iPhone.
Yeah.
Which is not
I mean, not that stuff
terrible.
has to be expensive and high budget to be good. I mean, we've reviewed so many cheap piece of shit movies on this show that turn out to be fantastic, but, like,
absolutely,
this really does look and feel like, I'm not going to say it looks and feels cheap. It looks like nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah. It's obvious that they have an airplane hangar they were using for the wraparound story, and they just set up a tent in the airplane hangar and I don't know why they decided to do this as a continuous shot of Keith David getting out of his car and, like, the lady meeting him and talking, and then walking into this little tent inside of an airplane hangar.
Yeah, what purpose does that serve?
It looks high school level production. Like if you had just gotten a few different angles and shots, you could have cut together something that looked more professional.
Yeah, I tend to agree, man. And, you know, again, like, Keith David,
he's amazing.
Obviously is a treasure. Like, that guy
he always brings it.
rules.
No matter what level the movie, the TV show, he doesn't give a fuck. He gets on set, he is Keith David, he nails it, and then he's gone.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I could listen to that guy read, like, DOS programming manuals. Like, his voice is just fucking captivating, and he's better than this movie deserves, honestly. Like, I know that his performance is, like, really over the top and really intense, but
it's supposed to be.
He's going for it. It's fine.
Yeah, he's supposed to be, you know, the Clarence Williams the third character, sort of. You know, he's the mortician in the first one. Clarence Williams the third
keeper.
Yeah, he was asked to come back, but he had retired from acting and just didn't want to.
Really?
Yeah. So they brought in Keith David, very solid substitute, and, you know, goes over the top in a way Clarence Williams similar to Clarence Williams, but also in a very Keith David way. So it works. He works as that character, but it's like what he's working against is it's just the fact that he's so good makes everything else look bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, he's trying. Why aren't you?
And the thing is like even the entire like framing device where it's like he's been called in as some kind of consultant to tell stories to this AI that's going in this police robot that can learn from secondhand experience to see who is on the right side of the law and stuff.
Right.
Like, that's a stretch, man. Like, I love how in the original, in part 1, how the entire thing was, you got this gang of dudes who's going into this funeral home looking for the shit.
Yeah.
The shit.
And,
they pass by all these, like, bodies and coffins, and every story is like, oh, how did that guy die?
Right.
Here's
and
the
it
story.
all makes
it's like,
sense.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, it's really neat. And in this, it's just like, hey, tell some stories to this really garbage-looking robot.
Right.
And that's another thing kind of about the look and the feel of the framing device itself is like it doesn't feel like horror to me. Like, again, to go back to the original, it's like, yeah, creepy old guy leading these guys around a funeral home. There's corpses and coffins. Like, that reads like horror.
Mm-hmm.
This is like broad daylight, super well-lit, high-tech facility, airplane hangar. Zero depth of field, yeah.
Like a ton of dolly shots for no reason.
Keep that camera moving now. You don't want to leave it
Keep the
settling
camera
too long.
moving so people don't be paying too much attention to what they're saying because it's not good dialogue. It's bad.
Well, I mean, but we're dealing with the nuance and subtlety of characters like what's his name?
Dumbass
Dumas?
bitch.
Yeah, dumbass bitch is essentially
Dumas
the guy's
Beach.
name. Like,
mm-hmm. And a guy named Grant Measpine.
Wait, I missed that. Really?
Yeah, they don't say his last name, but it was in the credits. Grant Measpine. He doesn't have a spine, you see. He's spineless.
Oh, I see. Another spineless politician.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. It's got some depth to it then, huh?
Yeah.
The framing device doesn't win me over.
No.
At all, because it's essentially just people like standing around being like, hey, tell me another story. Here's a story. Huh? Tell me another story. Here's a story. Like, where's the momentum?
Well, and also you got the politician being like just this overtly racist character, which is fine. Overt racists exist, but I feel like in 2018, if you're trying to get a message out to people about racism, the message that the guy dressed like Colonel Sanders in the end as a racist is preaching to the choir. Everybody knows this. Like,
yeah,
you would hope you would address more subtle racism. You would hope you would address people who think that they're not racist simply because they're not the Colonel Sanders type or the dumbass bitch type. Like,
yeah.
You would hope that you would and it does do some of that with some of the segments, but the wraparound that we're talking about right now really fails at that.
And dude, just the fact that this, was made literally in the middle of the Trump administration, like,
right, like
there wasn't better stuff you could come up with than this,
right? Yeah, there seems like it's like so there's so much you could be writing about and like trying to expose and trying to find the nuances of, and it doesn't do that. But I do think that the first segment, the good golly, I think it's good.
When you said first segment, I thought you meant that amazing intro that we were treated to in the movie, which is kind of like an immediate, like, okay, the give a fuck is low, because this looks like a fucking screensaver.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Put some damn sunglasses on those skeletons.
Yep, that's it. Because remember that from the first one? So that's what it is. It's just a reminder that in the first one there was a skeleton with sunglasses on at one point. That's it.
Wow.
There's no reason for it. It doesn't connect any of the story together. I don't get it. But
no.
Good golly is solid, and I think if I think that the budget is reflected a good bit here because it is a $3.2 million budget to film what is this, 5 segments.
Yeah, if you count the framing device.
Yeah, so that's you got over 20 actors you're paying.
And you're getting a Keith David for that.
You're getting Keith David. You got 2 directors / writers. The budget, it's less than half of what the original was, and the original was made in 1995. So budgetary constraints are a real problem here. But as you said, we've done stuff with lower budgets where they've done a good job of storytelling, done a good job of using the actors available, and done a good job of making the most of each dollar. And this doesn't seem to do that. But good golly is solid. It would be like, I think Lou Beatty Jr., who plays Floyd, the curator of the museum, I think like everything he says, you could say like the stuff we were saying about how it's like so overt and is just text and there's not really much subtext. Everything he says though works because he's the curator of this museum. The museum is about racism. It is about the entrenchment of this idea of blackness created by white people to hold black people down as property, to maintain the what he says, the brand, but like without iron, without actually branding black people, by making them a brand, by turning them into these dolls and these mammies and the Aunt Jemima. Because that lady,
that was
lady,
weird, right?
They stole her likeness. They stole from her, and they were using her as this mammy caricature, and it's not fucking cool.
No.
So like, this is kind of playing off some of that. I think it also maybe is a little bit influenced by, the Justin Bieber Anne Frank house incident, and the.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh well, Justin Bieber went to the Anne Frank house and. In an interview, he said he thought Anne Frank would be a believer, and a bunch of adults were like, "Oh, that's so disrespectful." And then the people at the Anne Frank house were like, "Yeah, probably she would be. She was a teenage girl. You guys are weirdos." But you know how adults are. We are them. So boomers were like, "That Justin Bieber, he disrespected Anne Frank by implying she was a teenage girl."
Impossible.
Yeah, and also like the. Large amount of selfies people started taking at tragedy sites like Dachau and stuff like that.
Right.
I think it has some of that, and then also the blackface shit that kept happening for years there, where every celebrity was like, "Yeah, but it's cool if I do it, right?" And no, it's
Ted
not.
Danson. You've seen that shit, right?
Of course I've seen that shit.
Woo, man.
He was dating Whoopi Goldberg at the time. That's correct. It is edgy, at the very least, but definitely racist.
But that's the thing, is like that even kind of plays into this, where it's like even, the two like kind of basic bitches that go to this this museum are like, "Oh, racism's over. We're friends."
Yeah.
Like it's like, "Oh, I'm dating a black person. It's fine." Like it kind of plays into some of that, which is good to see that being touched on, because that shit's fucked up.
By the way, I really love, and I think this works for a very specific situation. I love where the white girl says, "This country used to be messed up," and then and then what's his name, the Floyd, he says, "Better now, is it?" And I just want to remind anyone who's like thinking, this country's so much better in the past month. Is it?
Well,
is it?
Got them kids in cages down there still, as far as I know.
Still kids in them cages. You got to check yet? I mean, this won't come out until next week. Hopefully you do. I bet you don't.
Hopefully you do.
I bet you don't.
I will maintain it is nice waking up knowing that the leader of the country is not admired by the KKK. That's a good change.
He was admired by the KKK in the past. I don't know what changed.
Oh, fuck. Damn it. All right. Well, less now. So, I'll call it a little bit of a good change. But as far as like everyday life changing, not really.
No, not really. Yeah, that's exactly it's about complacency. Like the whole segment is about the idea that things are better, things have changed, everything is different because white women date black men now. Like that's enough. Or a white woman and a black woman are friends. Like it really is, though. The central theme of it is about the fetishization of blackness.
Yeah, absolutely so.
Yeah. So like it is the most solid bit, and I really think like
so.
if you took this and put it into another anthology, it would be like, oh, I liked that one. Good golly, that was cool. Because it does exactly what you expect a low budget anthology segment to do. It uses its budget effectively. There's only 4 actors. The golly doll doesn't look like it costs too much to make. I imagine it's it's big, but probably just a bunch of felt. And
sure, yeah, it looks like it.
Nothing amazing. And like the message gets across pretty clearly. The one quibble I do have, one major quibble, other than some other problems with it, the one major quibble I do have is that at the end, Floyd just explains what just happened. Like, when she's giving birth to all the little gollies, he just says outright, what is it? Fucking white women and making babies. But how dare they call you a stereotype? You're just the creation they designed you to be. And it's like, yep, that's the moral of this entire thing. We didn't need you to say it out loud. It would have been better if we came to it ourselves, but whatever.
Right? It seems like it was very influenced by like the end of Psycho, where it's like, let's have this psychiatrist explain what just happened.
Exactly.
Here's the play-by-play.
Yeah. It's like, it would have been better if she just died giving birth to the gollies, and we, maybe he does this crazy laugh that he did at the end, and that's it. I mean, it is, I guess, honestly, I do know that when I was watching this the first time, I was drunk. I do remember reporting back on this movie and saying I liked it. And rarely is it true that I watch a movie when I'm drunk and then come out saying I like it. But what happened with this is the part where he's whipping that guy's guts out, where Golly is whipping that dude until his guts come out.
There's like meat flying off of the guy and stuff.
Best. I think it had me convinced the movie was great, and then I got so blackout drunk I didn't see the rest of the movie.
I mean, I will say this, like that area right there does look really good. I think the gore and stuff is great.
It's cool.
And even though, like, I don't know, I'll tell you my complaints about the doll. Because, like, whenever Golly comes to life and he's, like, life-size and huge and stuff, it does, as you say, look like it's just made of felt and stuff. But it's like, well, also, if you just turn that little doll into a life-size thing,
that's what it would look
would.
Like. Yeah. So that's a positive. The fact that it doesn't look too good is actually good.
And the fact that it's not CG either. It's like they could have just done that as a big old dumb CG creature, and that would have been, fucking terrible, obviously. So, it's like, it's good and bad that it looks the way that it does. I think they probably could have lit it better and shot it better. Like, a lot of it just seems like it is like, okay, all the lights are on in the room, and this is what it looks like. It's like not very flattering for the look. I really
just think the camera budget, and I mean, this is executive produced by Spike Lee, but I really just think the camera budget wasn't there. Because they're obviously using some low quality digital, and they didn't have the budget to light it the way it needed to be.
Yeah, it kind of looks that way to me, man. And then also too, you do have the fact that I think one of the most memorable segments in the original Tales from the Hood is the evil doll segment. Yeah. It's like, and evil doll again. Back. Yeah, also, let's really blatantly show, like, hey, remember that one from the first one? Like,
I actually didn't mind that, because that's such a small Easter egg. It's not like they did a sequel to one of the segments or anything. I kind of was fine with that, because it connected to Tales from the Hood in a way, like, because, as I said, I think the opening, like, credit bit was trying to connect to Tales from the Hood with this real, like, thing that you wouldn't really fully connect. Just because there was a skull with glasses on the cover or whatever is not like all you think about when you think Tales from the Hood, but connecting with that weird little doll I was cool with, because it lets you know immediately, like, okay, something's up with the dolls, though you already assume that. They're not going to show you dolls in a horror short without it getting weird.
Yeah, coming to life eventually, sure. Yeah. And I do like the fact that this segment took on something that I've always found, like even as like a little kid that didn't know no better, always found very, very strange, which is the way that the sins of our past as a nation are marketed to and profited on by white people. Like, okay, and again, this is just me speaking as somebody that grew up in the mid 80s in the South in East Tennessee. I don't know how things are everywhere for all of you guys that are listening. Hopefully they have changed.
Yeah.
But man, dude, like, I mean, you know, I think we all have some fucking racist ass family members around here and stuff.
Yes, definitely.
And I think we also all have some family members whose houses, at least back then, were full of, and again, I even shudder to even say the word, but this is just what they're known as, mammies. Like, the way that old white women collect mammies, meaning statues and figures and portraits and stuff of old black servant women.
Yeah.
I have always found very fucking strange.
Yeah, it's really
like
odd.
I feel like everybody has an aunt or a mima or somebody that collects that stuff, and it's like, the fuck, why? Even as a little kid, I was like,
weird. This
is fucking
strange.
Weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Why is this a marketable property? I've always thought it was bizarre. So I like that this kind of takes that on, as well as just, you know, what I would call just sort of race tourism. For example, like plantation tours and stuff like that we do here in the South. Like, dude, this is one of those things that I've always found very strange. And even a couple of years ago, I think I probably even talked about it on the show a couple of years ago, on the way back from like a family vacation, we went to I believe it was in Charleston. It was some like historic home tour that turned out to be a plantation. And it's like fucking, yeah, exactly. And fucking white people pay to have their weddings at this plantation and stuff. And I just think that's weird, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Charleston also has the slave auction area where they sell tourist shit now, which is real disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
I do love that city, but it's full of racist shit.
Yeah, there's some things that they should probably just kind of let go of, or try to acknowledge and build upon.
Yeah, I mean, it is where the Civil War started, so it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, P.S. Speaking of Civil War, on last week's episode when we were talking about like field trips and stuff, I talked about that Gettysburg Museum in Kentucky. What the fuck am I talking about? It wasn't Gettysburg. Kate pointed that out. She's like, Gettysburg didn't happen in Kentucky.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it was just a Civil War site. It wasn't fucking Gettysburg. I'm just a moron.
Some random Civil War site. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, man. But yeah, like I said, like I like that this sort of takes on that weird white person fetishization of the Gone with the Wind plantation mammy times. Like, I've always thought it was fucking weird, even when I didn't know any better.
I mean, what was that Lady Antebellum nonsense where they were like, we didn't know what it meant? What the fuck do you think it meant?
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. What the fuck did you think it meant? And they said something about architecture, and that's the same nonsense people say about going to those plantations. They want to appreciate the architecture. Let me tell you something about the architecture of a plantation. It's a fucking house.
Yeah.
It's not like, there's not like some vaulted ceilings and shit. It's not like all this magnificence and amazingness. It's a fucking house. You're there to revel in the days of slavery. You're not there to admire the architecture. Lady Antebellum. And then they changed their name and stole the name of a black woman.
Oh, you want to talk about the ultimate fucking dumb ass move you could make in the age of Google, no less. Come the fuck on.
There's no way it wasn't intentional. There's no way they weren't being like, oh, you think our name's racist? Yeah, we didn't know that. Let's steal from a black woman.
Oh,
yeah,
brutal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
This shit is just rampant. It's so normalized that like that is what that's why I think this is such an effective segment in comparison to the others, because this one hits home. It's like very current and really like encapsulates exactly what it's trying to say in a way where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just someone spouting exposition. He's a curator of a museum. This is stuff he probably says regularly to anybody who comes in the museum. He plays it over in his head. He has these answers on the tip of his tongue because this is his life's work.
Sure. Yeah, and that was one of my complaints while I was watching it. I was like, man, this guy's dialogue is just really scripted-ass dialogue.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, as a museum curator, that is what you do. You say the same lines to everybody that comes in, and you have them memorized like the back of your hand.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
It is kind of supposed to be that way.
This one just really, it does really good. And you're right. The filming techniques are not amazing. I think that's all budgetary. I think, they probably just said, like, let's not worry too much about, like, making it look gorgeous. Let's try to get messages across. But then, like, it kind of gets muddled in the next one. I think I've said all I have to say about Golly.
Oh, yeah. Let's move on to that second segment.
Next one, The Medium, immediately gets garbled, this message, because...
Yeah, I couldn't quite really put my finger on what this one was trying to speak to or speak about. Like, I couldn't really put my finger on this one because it kind of seemed all over the place to me.
Yeah, it is, so it starts with, some gangsters beating up a former pimp trying to get this money they know he has. And,
but he's using it for his foundation to try to help the community, create jobs for the black community and stuff.
Yeah, so everything that happens right before anything that you just said, he's like, okay, I get this one's probably going to be funny. And then he says all this stuff like, I have 7 grocery stores and 3 so-and-sos and blah, 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 and et cetera. And I'm doing all this and I'm starting a scholarship fund and I'm opening magnet schools and stuff. It was like, this is over the top, like trying to establish that he's a great guy. And I guarantee it was probably written to be him saying it like, because he is a former pimp using his slick talk to get out of this. But then the way it's presented is just as like, I am a upstanding moral person. Like, that's gonna work? Like, why would that work? Like, if he's presenting it that way, like if it comes across as like he's trying to be convincing, then it would be better. But the way it's presented is so like, it's just so almost like a setup for a joke. Like, it's almost like he's going this long way to then say something like funny, but there's nothing funny.
Well, he does drop a pretty hot "your mama" joke on
that
him.
One's great. That was great. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
like those bits were so good that if they cut out the part where it's like, and by the way, like this upstanding community bit, like he's like all the other stuff is funny. And it's like everything, it seems like the tone is supposed to be, this is all supposed to be funny. But then, like, it keeps dropping in these moments of seriousness that don't fit.
Yeah.
So tonally, it's just all over the place.
It is. And the thing about it is, too, man, is like right there at the first where you've got these guys that are, attacking this guy who seems, in his own words, to be trying to help the community out. Like, I was like, is this trying to kind of recapture the message of the final segment of the first Tales from the Hood where there's the guy who was like in that jail cell that was next to like a white supremacist, and he's like, you're a gangbanger, aren't you? Who are you killing? Other black people? I like you. You're doing my job. Like, is it about, communities hurting people that are just trying to help them? Like, is that what this is trying to say? And then it goes to, no, they're trying to get this money and they need to summon his spirit from this fake white psychic guy. Like, what?
Yeah, because they killed him because he finally, like, he did the yo mama joke, which was awesome. And then, like, he, calls this guy out for having a gay lover in prison, and that guy kills him, punches him to death. So, like, yeah, now they've got to find a medium to contact this guy's spirit to find out where he's hiding the money for his foundation.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, why, like, they find out about his foundation as they're beating him up. So they just kidnapped this man and started beating him up, assuming he'll probably have some money.
I didn't think about that.
Like, the
that wasn't
motivation
really
makes
part of their
no
plan.
sense. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we're introduced to this, fake TV psychic medium guy who's just a total phony.
Mm-hmm.
And he's played by
Brian
that
Batt.
guy who you've seen play a million people in TV and movies.
Sal from Mad Men, for any of those Mad Men heads out there.
I know y'all are listening.
Yep, he was also in 12 Years a Slave. He's in a ton of stuff. Like, he's just in...
Yeah, he's
actually,
in a lot
that's
of
true
things.
of most of the actors in this, is that they have a lot of, like, TV credits and stuff.
Dude, Keith David has like 300-something acting credits.
Absolutely, yeah. They went for solid people, which is why I think most of these are first takes. Like,
it feels like it.
It does. It feels like if the actors had a little bit more time with it, I bet stuff would have come off better. I think the guys who are beating up the pimp guy, who is what's his name? Crap. Was he Cliff?
I can't remember, honestly.
Yeah, he was Cliff. So the guys that are beating up Cliff, they're funny and they got good patter. And then the other guy comes in and he's like trying to be menacing, and
he's real stale, man.
And he's kind of stale, yeah. And it's like not hitting, because I think like he's being legit trying to be menacing, and like I think maybe he's supposed to be funny menacing, but he's not doing that. He's just being menacing, and it's like, well, that's not working with the tone that was established just seconds ago. I mean, you started out with jokes, and then it ends with tons of jokes, but there's just like this lull in the middle where they try to get overly serious and overly like try to throw a message into a segment that doesn't need it. Like, they don't need this character to be talking about his foundation and shit. They just know he's got money because he's rich. The end.
And you're right, it does definitely hit kind of a lull there, where it's just like, okay, we have all this action and setup and this guy getting beat down, they're looking for his money, and then it's like, and now spend some time with this fake TV psychic guy and all these white people. And like, I couldn't get the read of like, at the end of the day, if this is trying to send some sort of message about maybe people of color looking for a white savior to solve their problems.
Right.
I mean, that could have been a message in here, but I don't feel like that wasn't developed.
What they were going for.
The white savior you're looking for is full of shit. Like, he's not going to help anything. He doesn't know what he's doing, because at the end, it does seem like he does get possessed by the spirit, and I just didn't really know what the message was.
Yeah, I don't know, because like, what the fuck was even going on there? Because it seemed like he's a complete phony, but then turns out he does have actual powers.
Because why? I mean, it's like, it shows him like cheating and listening in with those mics that are placed in the audience to find out details about this woman and her dead husband and shit. But then I don't have powers except that I do.
Right.
Okay.
And then at the end, after he's killed all of the gangster guys, really cool kills, by the way. That was fun.
It does have some good kills, I'll say.
So it does have the line, people who eat glass in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. What the fuck? What does that mean?
What does that fucking mean?
People who eat glass in... Because then the guy gets a bunch of glass in his throat or whatever, right? Like,
the message is, don't eat your house, Steve.
I guess so. Don't eat your house. We all know. We all know that. I mean, we learned that as kids. Duh.
It goes without saying.
Don't eat your house. That was what Hansel and Gretel was all about.
Exactly. Don't eat the house, kids.
But yeah, like at the end there, though, for a second he talks white. He talks like Brian Batt. Like he's got the voice that he had before. And then the girlfriend's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, just practicing back in Cliff's voice." And then when it cuts to them like doing the show, he's still talking in Cliff's voice. So what were they getting at with him slipping up and talking like Brian Batt for a moment? And what was he talking about? Practice. What was he practicing? Because when he does the show, he doesn't talk like Brian Batt. It just doesn't make sense. Like the shit doesn't come together.
Yeah, this needed a little bit more work on the entire script and message of this segment, because it's like you said, like the first segment here, yeah, it seemed kind of cheap and there's some stilted acting and stuff, but I was still like, okay, they're hitting some messages and things, so you're all like where this is going, and then it got to this part and I was like, no, this is more of what I was expecting out of this based on the credits and the intro and stuff. This is more like, okay, this is what I was expecting.
Yeah, this is the more low budget, low effort, it seems. Yeah.
Low effort is the best way to describe it. Yeah. Definitely low effort, man. The third segment
Yeah,
that we get
date
to
night.
here. Now, this is kind of a vampire story in the middle of this, and I can't say that this brings a lot of inventiveness or originality to the entire
we've seen
story
this
of like,
play out before.
oh man, yeah, like people are preying on these sexy persons. They turn out to be vampires. Now the predator is now the prey, blah blah blah. Like, it's just like a very fucking common ass story that I don't see how it relates to the entire message of Tales from the Hood. I don't really understand.
They did it in Trick or Treat. They did it in Holidays. I think I've seen it in other anthologies before too.
Yeah.
You would hope then they'd bring a spin to it. Like, okay, here's that tried and true kind of story, but here's our spin on it. Here's how it's different. And the only spin on it is these people play Cards Against Humanity wrong.
That's true, they do. They
Yeah.
fucking blow it. There's no truth in this art.
There is no truth in this art. Just so you know, if you play Cards Against Humanity by taking the card from the person and knowing the answer is associated with that person and then picking the answer of the person you like the most, you're playing
Defeats
Cards
the
Against
purpose.
Humanity wrong. It's supposed to be the most disgusting and filthy one. Duh.
That's why it's fun. Yeah, man. They kind of blew.
I love Cards Against Humanity. That's
It's so fun.
such a
it's
fun
so
party
fun. So
game.
it's disappointing to see that they fucking blew it in
They
this. It's
absolutely
just like,
blew it. Yeah.
come on, man. Yeah, I don't really understand, man. And, you know, again, it's like, it's kind of a story, I guess, about like, you know, date rape culture,
But
which that's fucking fucked up and horrendous. But, I mean, this isn't really exploring it all that well, and it doesn't seem all that relevant to the movie
it's
itself.
just being like, ha ha ha. You thought you were going to date rape us, but instead we're going to have you killed by our boyfriend vampires in the basement.
Also, here's the thing. Like, whenever it got to the part where the guys, you know, they show up to the house with the two girls and stuff, and they eventually, you know, drug them and make them fall asleep. Why the fuck did they do that? Because the girls seemed so very obviously into them and hot to trot. Like, why?
I mean, I guess that does make them more depraved, right? That at least maybe that's something to latch onto as a positive. That why would they do this? They are that depraved that these two women were interested in having sex with them, but they still
I
have
guess
to
so,
do this. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, it's the shortest segment by far. It's really short.
Very short. And, like, I think my notes on it are seriously like 4 lines.
Yeah, I didn't have
long.
much.
There's nothing to it.
I really just wrote down, like, I've seen this before. Like,
I think the effects are pretty good. Like, whenever they're down there in kind of that dungeon area and there's like all the other kind of zombie vamp dudes that are reaching through the bars at the guys and stuff, they look pretty cool.
yeah, that was a good, like, people under the stairs sort of reference, and I like that. That's always cool to reference an awesome movie. And yeah, I think that was good. That was well done. It just, like, you know, you need to build the terror up more. There needed to be more to it than just that. It would have been better if the girls drugged them. If they didn't do anything wrong. Like, maybe that's your twist on the story. Like, well, I guess though that holiday segment was that too. She was just a serial killer. Like, there was no other reason for her to kill this guy except she's a serial killer. So, but that had the twist of he's also a serial killer. This could have been like they drug them and then maybe they, you know, do whatever they want to them, etc. Blah blah blah. Like, but at least something new, something fresh, something different, other than just this. Yeah, what if the girl you tried to date rape actually was a vampire?
Okay, now here's the thing about this that also I liked until I didn't like it anymore. And it was when my
it got bad to you.
It got bad to me when my photo major wife pointed this out. So whenever they have drugged the girls and they're laying there on the bed and they set up the camera to like videotape their sex acts, and it was like it just shows the floating clothes. I was like, oh man, cool! It's showing the floating clothes problem with vampires. That's neat.
But
only
it's digital.
It's a digital camera.
Doesn't
There's
use
no
mirrors.
mirror inside of that, so that actually wouldn't even be that way. Like you could record a vampire on your iPhone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the past I've I thought about this when I was watching that. I think I've said it would make sense that you can't take a picture of a vampire because it uses a mirror. But I realized it only uses the mirror for the viewfinder. The mirror actually goes down, and then light is exposed to the film. So the mirror is not involved in the actual picture, which would mean you could take a picture of a vampire, but if you looked through the viewfinder to take the picture of the vampire, you would not see them.
Okay, that's true.
But yes, exactly. On a digital camera, why? Why would they not be able to? There's no mirror involved at all.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this segment was just so simple, and I don't feel like it had any kind of like racially relevant message to it. It just kind of seemed thrown in as like, oh, it's a horror short. Here you go, put it in this movie. Yeah,
it does. It does seem kind of just tossed in. So, ready to move on to the last one, with the biggest one, the longest one by far?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, because this is like a pretty significant chunk of the movie, and I'll say that this one has the most heart behind it, and it's hard not to, considering the subject matter. You know, it deals with the killing of Emmett Till.
Emmett Till, yeah, and several others are involved, or at least shown, but their stories aren't told. But Emmett Till's actual story is being shown alongside this tale because they intertwine. And the history parts with Emmett Till are the best looking, best shot, and probably best written of the entire movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. Those feel the most like high bar, like, okay, wow, they put some love into this and put some care into this for sure, man. But it is interspersed with all this other stuff where it's like in the present day where these people are trying to have a baby, blah, blah, blah stuff. Where it's like, this doesn't really matter. There's a plantation owner named Cotton. Isn't that obvious? Like,
yeah, and he looks like Colonel Sanders, as I said earlier.
And he looks like Colonel Sanders.
And it's just like, obviously that guy's racist.
Duh.
Yeah, it would have been better to give us the guy who's like, I'm just a good old Southern boy. I just wear my suit and look like a regular fella. Also, I hate everyone who isn't white. Like, that's exactly what we're dealing with pretty regularly. We're not getting the Colonel Sanders types. We know they're racist. Nobody's surprised.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like honestly, the entire story of Emmett Till, like, is so fucked up and horrific. If you don't know the details, do yourself a favor and just read up on this stuff. It's easy to find out about horrible things that happened in the past.
Yeah.
The story itself is so fucked up that even if they just presented it,
that would have been the better segment.
That would have been like, hey, also what you just watched is true and this happened. This is real, racially motivated horror.
Yeah. I mean, if you presented that as horror and somebody was like, I don't see the horror in this, it'd be like, oh, you like exposing yourself for being a horrendous racist, I see.
Yeah.
Because this is I'll horrific.
Never talk to you again.
Yeah. I think like Lovecraft Country did a better job of portraying the Emmett Till story than this. But this, if it just did the Emmett Till parts, would have been far and away the best segment.
Yeah, totally.
Because those are solid, and they're, as you said, it looks
great.
It looks like they had a lot of reverence toward the situation. They were like, we're trying to replicate this very horrific murder of a 14-year-old boy based on fake rape allegations. The woman who alleged this has admitted they were fake, and she's still alive and walking around and not in prison.
Holy shit.
So this shit is not that fucking distant.
Yeah.
The guys who murdered him didn't get put in prison at all. They were acquitted by an all-white jury very quickly. It was not a problem.
Wow, shocker. Yeah.
That's
and this
horror.
Is a fucking kid, dude.
He's
this is
a 14-year-old
kid.
It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah. So that story and the way that it's shot by Rusty Cundiff is so fucking good. Looks great.
Good.
Really does the stuff we know was said is said, and the events as they happened or portrayed in the way they happened, and it's just really powerful and solid. But then the story that it's connected to is kind of I never feel a full connection to what's going on in it, because she's seeing his wife, this politician who is a black Republican, which he's dressed all wrong. We've all seen the Key and Peele skit. Black Republicans wear a very specific outfit.
Exactly. It's a very, very specific look.
I am pissed. I am royally pissed.
Dude, that shit is so fucking good.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so it's a black Republican. He's basically being asked by his party to sell out the black community, and he is all for doing it. And his wife is pregnant. She's had several miscarriages, and she is seeing the ghost of Emmett Till in the woods. And like by like the more he progresses toward actually selling out his community, somehow it is changing the past to where Emmett Till decides not to be killed.
Yeah. What?
And like, I mean, if you read the story, it's possible if he had simply apologized, they would have just beat him and not killed him. It's possible. There may be a world where that happened. I don't think so. I don't know, but whatever. So yeah, like it's like that. I mean, they sort of try. The connection they're trying to make is by not honoring the sacrifices gifted to him by these civil rights leaders that are shown. I mean, or civil rights. What am I saying here? Emmett Till wasn't fighting for civil rights, but his death was a huge like spark in the civil rights movement.
Yeah, ignited it. Yeah,
we're seeing the ghosts of these people like Emmett Till and Carol McNair, Addie Mae Collins, Cynthia Wesley, and Carol Robertson, who were murdered by the KKK in the terrorist bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. Also shown is James Earl Chaney, along with Andrew Goodman and Michael Schwerner, the two white guys you saw there, who were civil rights workers who were killed by the KKK in 1964, who were investigating a church burning. They were killed by the same people who burned the church.
1964, not that long ago, by the KKK, which is still very much real and apparently not a terrorist organization. What?
Well, and then there's MLK, who was hounded by a terrorist organization, the FBI, then killed by a man who may have had some incitement from the CIA. So, whatever. Point is, terrorist organizations full of white people have been killing black people for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's really easy for this to be a very powerful story just based on the obviously real subject matter that it's based on. But it's kind of like what you said a second ago, like a lot of the, I guess, mythology, mechanics of how this whole thing works just get really wacky, where she's like, the baby is shrinking.
Yeah. What?
What?
Yeah. That is strange. I don't get how that all didn't make a ton of sense to me. But his mom, she's trying to convince him not to do this nonsense. And when, whenever Emily, the wife, starts talking about seeing this ghost, the mom kind of believes her and then goes and gets this other guy. I cannot remember his name. He's the one who comes in and he's like, you need to honor the sacrifices that were gifted you, and this is what's going on, and this is what needs to happen to fix this. And of course, like we're going through these shifting timelines, like time is changing, and suddenly she's not pregnant and says that he kidnapped her, and now the KKK police show up to arrest him for kidnapping a white woman, and then they beat him to death.
Yeah.
And that's like the end. Like that. I mean, I understand that the point of it is honor the sacrifices that are gifted you, but like he doesn't get that opportunity. He just becomes one of the sacrifices. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really understand how that all ties together.
Yeah, there's a little bit of inconsistency though. Again, just stick with the Emmett Till story. Like, that is horror. That is in and of itself frightening as fuck. People show up at your house because you talked to a woman and they want to kill you, and you're 14, and then they do take you and beat you and then tie what was it? They tied to his neck with barbed wire. It's something heavy, and then threw him in the fucking river.
Right. He has like a millstone or some shit.
Yeah, fucking insane.
Yeah, insane. And you know, it's just one of those deals where it's like, you don't have to make up horrific stories about
Just show them.
racism in America. Like, there's plenty that are written in the fucking history books. Like, you don't have to make this stuff up. It's right there in our history.
Yeah.
I admire the fact that this segment takes that stand to be like, hey, we don't need to sensationalize anything or fictionalize anything.
This is
already
just
happened.
what it was. This is the cold reality of what it was.
Yeah, like, I admire it for that, but it's like, honestly, you don't really need anything else on top of that. Like, if anything, it almost makes it seem more fictional to add more stuff to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could have had two separate segments there. You could have had just a full-on the retelling of the Emmett Till story as is, starkly, bleakly showing what it was, and then have a story about a black politician struggling with selling out his community to gain political power.
Yeah.
Like that could be a completely different, separate thing. And you could still talk about honoring the sacrifices and stuff, and it might even hit more powerfully if it just followed the true Emmett Till story.
Kind of diluted it a little bit whenever you added all that stuff into the actual Emmett Till story, for sure, man. And then, you know, at the end of all that, we're treated to the
the finale of the
really garbage framing device with the Avengers Captain America robot thing that is just, I mean, to say it looks like Sci-Fi Channel is kind of insulting. Like, it really looks terrible. It's insulting to the Sci-Fi Channel to say that it looks like that.
You might be surprised to know that there is a Tales from the Hood 3 that came out on Sci-Fi.
No shit.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not. I was thinking of watching it, but then I was like, I don't want that in my head right now. Like,
yeah.
I want to go into this movie because, like, we've been talking about it. Watching this movie, I was like, this is not a good movie.
No.
And I was thinking, if I watch Tales from the Hood 3, is it gonna make me more infuriated that the sequels just aren't as good as the like, even close to the original, and they're made by the same guys? Like, I feel like if you've got, 20 something years to think about it and work on it and consider it, and you're in this time, the Trump era, where everybody is focusing on these racial issues, you finally got this, like, moment to really shine.
Yeah, dude. I mean, in the moment where the racists love the president. Right. They love the president at this time.
Yep. Like, there's so much you could have done, so much that could have happened. I understand the $3.2 million budget was really gonna be an issue, but man, I don't know. I feel like other creators have found ways to make it work.
Yeah,
and I really wish, like, because I see so much potential in like, I think Good Golly is solid, and I see so much potential in the sacrifice, specifically the Emmett Till part. That's like, I could see this being put together, like, with a long enough timeline, because this was shot in April of 2018 and then premiered at a festival in July. So shot for a month and then a couple of months of post production.
Damn, dude. That's not enough. Not
enough, yeah. Just a real like, time crunch, and I'd like to have seen.
They deserve better.
Yeah, I'd like to have seen what it would look like if they had gotten a similar budget to the original and gotten to do what they would want to do. Because I can see getting your writer's fee for this and being like, this is all I'm getting paid for this? Y'all are not getting my A-level shit.
Right, for sure, man. And I mean, I'll also say, just as a disclaimer, it's like, we're two fucking white dudes that were born in the mid 80s.
Right.
And if we're totally missing things here,
absolutely,
I'm not surprised. And let us know what they are.
Just let us know. Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to be corrected and find out that there's a lot to be loved here.
Same. It's like, maybe there's things I'm not seeing because of my own experience.
Exactly. So, if that's the case, let us know. But otherwise, I just don't. Yeah, I don't think this is very good. I don't think it's a good follow up to a much better movie. it's not something I think I'll ever watch again.
I'm in no rush. No.
Yeah, I've now seen it 3 times, and I think that's probably enough.
3 and done, man. 3 and done.
Yeah.
3rd time was the charm indeed. What are you putting this thing on that old 1 to 10 scale?
Oh boy. I think, with Good Golly and the Emmett Till parts, yeah, you get solidly, like a 2.5 to a 3.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I was gonna say, just in terms of just like the good stuff. I mean, they did well on a budget. Keith David is fucking awesome.
Keith David's great. Yeah.
Some of the stuff in the Good Golly section, I really enjoy, and like you said, bringing light to the history of the Emmett Till murder and stuff is very heavy and very impactful. So like all the points are definitely going to those factors, and that's about it. Honestly, yep. I think like 2.5 for me. Like it's just like I'm in no rush to watch this again. And I just feel like it could have said a lot more given the time period that this is being produced in.
Yeah, I think I would expect a good bit more. I mean, what I would really have loved is to have seen the y'all think Trump's the problem perspective. Like,
yeah, for sure, right?
Like, because like you kind of get that with when she says this country used to be messed up, and he says better now, is it? Like, you kind of get that, but like I would have liked to have seen an entire segment sort of dedicated to how, Trump's just brought out the racists. They were always there.
Oh yeah.
They were just hiding because they thought they couldn't say that shit. The second they thought it was cool, they come right out of the woodwork to say it.
Yep. Yeah, because that's honestly a horrific thing about the past several years that we saw is just like, oh, they were there all along. Like, none of that shit was ever eradicated.
Yep.
They were just waiting for a guy to get in the fucking big chair in the White House to share their viewpoints, and they're like, yep, that's me too. Like, come on, dude. Like, that's easy.
And then they can wash their hands of it and be like, well, I don't like everything he says, but I do agree on his policies. Dude. And it's like,
shit.
It's weird that his policies seem to be pretty fucking racist too.
Yeah. So you're saying you like it, but the racism isn't a deal breaker, is what you're telling me. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish this movie could have done more. I feel like it was a really good time and a place to say something strong, and it just seemed very rushed to me. Like, we got a week. What can we do? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it did come together real fast, and again, low budget. I'm assuming, because the 2 directors, Rusty Cundiff and Darren Scott, like they're probably expecting an okay director's fee and writer's fee, and then you got Keith David, and then you got some effects and stuff. Beyond that, like, you've got like 20 other actors. It's gonna be tight on 3.2 million. So I still think they could have made it better, but I do see why when you rush it and don't give it enough of a budget, you're not gonna come out with a good product.
Sure. Well, you guys be sure to let us know what you think about this flick over on the Facebook and Instagram pages.
That's right. Facebook.com/Dead and Lovely and at Dead Lovely Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on that Patreon, patreon.com/Dead and Lovely. You head on over there. You become a patron on any level, and you get access to our Patreon exclusive episodes where we introduce each other to a show. And we talk about it, and then we decide at the end of the episode if we're going to continue watching that show. And I have continued watching Raising Hope because it's awesome. So
it's a success.
We'll find out this month if Ben's going to continue watching The Boys.
The Boys. And also, if you support the show on the $5 level, you can submit a movie into the Smokin' Bowl, where we draw a movie out of every month and watch something that our listeners and supporters request. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing next week.
Check the Patreon drawing video tomorrow, Thursday that is, to find out which movie we'll be covering next week. Oh my God, can you believe it?
Holy moly, I can't believe we're doing that. It has been amazing. A long time, maybe my entire life since I have seen that, depending on what movie it was.
Or maybe I have seen it recently, perhaps.
Perhaps it could be one of those, but either way, it was a Patreon drawing, and you can get yours drawn on the show by supporting the show at the $5 or above level on the Patreon page.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
And also join us on Friday nights for the Screaming Chat. It really is a blast. We chat on Discord We watch a movie on YouTube. You don't even have to pay any money. It's not Netflix, it's not Amazon, it's not Shudder, it's YouTube. So you know the quality is low and the drinking is high.
All right, that's right. And the company is all good. So be sure to hang out with us then and tune in next week for another installment of Dead and Lovely. Hope everybody out there is staying well. And don't forget, kids, drugs, not hugs. Bye.
Bye.
You know, Steve, with us being born in the mid-'80s like we were, we kind of grew up in prime race car bed age. Because I remember when I was a kinder kid, like, all the fucking coolest dudes on the block had themselves that sick race car bed. And I was wondering, like, is this still a thing? Like, are parents still buying their kids race car beds?
Okay.
Or do you think that in this day and age of, like, the super woke, super eco-conscious, you know, crunchy parents that we have out there raising kids these days,
Mm-hmm.
do you think they're buying their kids maybe hybrid car beds or like Subaru beds?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Probably like you're in just a hybrid car bed, so it doesn't look cool, but also it doesn't get any different gas mileage than the other.
Do you think that those kids like pick on the kids that have, you know, disgusting exhaust belching gasoline powered beds? Do you think they like pick on them and stuff?
You know what? This is the one instance where I'm gonna side with the kids with the cool beds.
Yeah.
I think these kids in their electric car beds can just eat shit.
Think you're better than me, huh?
I'm gonna start rolling coal in my bed.
Rolling coal. I got stacks, two fat stacks on my bedpost. Yeah, the bedposts are stacks that just belch out black smoke. Just because it smoked don't mean it broke.
What?
Yeah,
awesome.
I've heard people say that actually.
I believe it.
Do you think the families that are like really hippied out and do like the group family sleep where everybody sleeps in the same bed, do you think they have a minivan bed, just room for the whole family? I think so.
That sounds pretty nice, right? A minivan bed. Yeah. I can't see how that would be weird at all.
No, nothing strange about that.